Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home, and today we're going to talk about how we can create complete exact duplicates of your favorite plants for free. So I hope you join us at the little propagation station over there. So whether it's because you want to kind of save some money and not have to buy so many plant starts next spring, or if you have a plant that might have some kind of sentimental meaning to you. For example, I took these cuttings from my mother's hydrangea bushes in her front yard, and hopefully I'm going to have complete clones of my mother's hydrangeas in my garden. Or, for example, this rosemary plant. I've in the past had a horrible time germinating rosemary seeds and getting those to grow. But last year we were expecting a really deep freeze early in December, and I didn't know if a lot of my herbs would make it through, and actually even the most perennial ones didn't. But anyway, I had taken a little cutting. It was no bigger than this, and I grew this plant from it. It stayed in a sunny windowsill all winter long, and then I put it out, and it's gotten much, much bigger this summer. So propagation is a really good kind of skill to learn. So anyway, I started propagation with a couple of plants just last year, and some of them worked and some of them didn't, I'll be honest. But this year, I really want to dedicate a little bit more effort to it and see what I can overwinter this year for next year. So here's my little propagation station. I've got some potting soil. I've got a bowl to mix it, the soil with water. I got this little thing to help make me waste not so much soil, and for inside the house it would be good because then it could keep the surfaces clean. And then I've got some empty jars that I'm going to use as humidity domes, and I've got some on the larger size pots that you know, are kind of deep enough that it could take a good amount of the stem in the soil. And then I have this rooting powder. It's a kind of a hormone similar to the mycose that I use when I plant out my seedlings. It's to stimulate root growth, and a lot of people, instead of using something like this, just use honey, which apparently contains the same hormone. And then I've got my snippers, which I just ran through the dishwasher, so they're nice and sterile. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up one of these jars with water, so that when I take my cuttings, I can just make sure that they go straight into the water. The first plant I'd like to take cuttings from is this coleus. Now, the coleus that I have in this hanging basket and in two others were actually from plants that I did this exact same thing. I took cuttings last year and I propagated them and I grew them on throughout the winter. And when you're taking a cutting, it's especially important to find something that has a lot of leaf nodes that could be buried, and also that are not in flower or about to go into flower. As you can see, this one has a tiny, tiny little flower just starting. It's already in the mode to create a flower, and what you want is something that we can get into the mood to root instead. Now this one does not have a flower starting. This one does have a good number of leaf nodes, and it's a good size. It's about 4 inches or so. So I'm going to take this as a cutting, put it in the water. There's another one. This would be a good one. And as you can see, it's got a bunch of different leaf nodes here, and each one of those can grow into a root. this pretty pink and green plant. It's related to a coleus. I think it's called pocketbook, but it's so pretty. And I would really like to save this. So I'm taking this cutting here. As you can see, it's got a bunch of leaf nodes. I really love this rose bush. I've never attempted to clone a rose bush before, but I'm going to try it this year. This is my favorite, and as you can see, it's very healthy. And it's my favorite because it has such pretty orangey yellow flowers. So I'm going to try now. I had deadheaded this. It had bloomed. And as you can see, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take like at least a 4 or 5 inch, ouch, clipping here. And we're going to try it. And I think we're going to try another one just to have a backup in case. This one looks pretty good. This is my red roselle hibiscus plant. This is the second year in a row I've tried to grow roselle. I don't know if it's because my season's just not long enough. So before the cooler nights set in and start kind of killing it back, I'm going to try to take some cuttings from here. Ooh, do I see a bud? I see some buds. Oh, I'm so excited. Well, I'm not going to take that one because I want it to flower if at all possible. Oop, I see buds there too. Ooh, maybe I will get. All right, this one doesn't look like it's budding yet. All right, so I'll take a younger stem that doesn't have any buds on it. See the little buds? That's very exciting. Okay, these are the cuttings that I took. Okay. I'm going to start with some of this potting soil. And I'm going to hydrate it because I've noticed with this fox farm, it can get hydrophobic, meaning it can get so dried out that it can kind of repel some water. So I'm going to get it pretty sopping. Just like you're mixing up like a meatloaf or something. All right, that should be fine. I'm going to water them in later anyway. And then for the taller plants, I'm going to take a longer pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch off these leaves. Let's see how far down this would go. I really only want to leave about this much above the soil, getting as many leaf nodes as I can. So let me trim this off a little bit. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want to bring any bugs into the house, I'm just going to spray this off, kind of try to power blast away any bugs that might be on here. Then using my handy dandy kitchen spurtle, I'm going to make a pretty deep hole. I'm going to take the rooting powder and I'm just going to dip it in there. Try to get as much around as possible. I'm also going to just shake a little into here. Just to make sure that up here it's going to come in contact with that as well. And then I'm pushing it all the way down. And then backfilling it. Well, that's still too tall. All right, well, we're going to try this again. All right, that's better. And I can add a little bit more soil to the top. And although I did wet this soil pretty well, I'm still going to water this in. Now for the roses, I don't have better gloves to handle the thorns. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to remove the thorns, although I'm going to do that. Ouch. And I'm going to have to cut some off here. But I think what I'm going to do, since there are more leaf nodes at the bottom than there are at the top, I'm going to cut it from the top to fit it. Ouch. 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 This pocketbook is already starting to look a little wilty. We'll see how this works for it. This actually has 2 branches. I'm only going to plant 1. I could tear these off, but I'd really rather not wreck the plant. So I'm just going to cut. Now you want to make sure that there's no leaves in the soil. Just cut them at their leaf node, because those will start rotting. And because we have to keep these so moist throughout their rooting process, they are going to be prone to root rot. So you want to eliminate as much of that issue as possible. Finally, we'll do the coleus. And as these continue to grow throughout the winter, you can take more cuttings from it and do the same thing and get more plants. Okay, so I'm going to bring these upstairs. I'm going to, because I already have stickers on these bottles, I'm going to just mark what they are and the date on the bottles themselves. And I'm going to put them in my sunny sliding glass door cart that gets good southern exposure. Now, the only thing that I did not do that with is the hydrangeas, because the last time I think that was too much sun for them, and they kind of cooked in the heat. So that I've got on an east-facing window. It is not the easiest thing in the world, though, to kind of keep them alive, keep them humid enough without getting the dampness. So what I've done when the soil starts getting a little bit lighter and it's time to water, I've been bottom feeding like I do my seedlings so that the soil wicks it up. And I only put it in the water for about an hour or two because I don't want them to get overly sogged, but they do have to stay wet the whole time. Also, at that point when it's time to water them, I'll fertilize them. I'll use some liquid organic fertilizer, so just to give them a little boost. Anyway, if it doesn't work the first time, try again. I'm on my second try with Mom's hydrangeas. Wish me luck. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you come back and watch us for our next video. And from the Ladies Garden Home, enjoy your gardening journey.